What's up, everybody? Welcome back to What's Out There Gaming. My name is JustJarrod. Now today we're going to be talking about Grip's storyline. Now I had a few things planned for this. I was going to kind of break it down into my own version of the storyline, but it's so detailed and so long of a storyline in a racing game that I'm just going to read it from their website, how they haven't read it to you guys, so you guys get the feel of what Grip storyline, what kind of atmosphere Grip is in, because when I tried to explain it in my last video, it got a little it bounced around a lot, because I was saying it's in the future, and then I was saying it's in space, and there's a lot of stuff, so I'm just going to read it from their website, and this will be my Grip storyline video, because it'll just be way easier that way. Now if you haven't seen my last video where I detail what Grip is, and talk about it in depth, and what it actually is and what kind of game it is, how it plays, things like that, make sure to check that out. It's in the description, the link's in the description, so go check that out before you see this, because I'll just be talking about the storyline of Grip in this video. So let's get right on into that. Grip has its origins in the illegal street racing scene that spawned in the early 21st century. At that time, the races were reasonably harmless, a danger to the public certainly, with inexperienced drivers managing to destroy their rides in ill-judged corners. But most of the time, it was only the drivers themselves that would wind up dead. It was characterized as an underground movement, largely ignored by law enforcement, with only a handful of arrests ever being made. The world had other worries. Then things started to change. The scene became dominated by major players with big egos. Full of bravura, their cars evolved and became all about the speed, and with that the danger began to grow. Elements of the public started to become interested in the drama, and a whole new subculture gravitated towards the action. This was racing alright, and everyone in it was out to win, whatever the cost. Accidents happened often, and that too became part of the allure. This sport was really taken off despite the intensifying efforts of authorities to bury it. In the end, the races became so testosterone-fueled and running so close to the edge that even pirate TV started to cover them. The channel known simply as Grip became synonymous with the whole scene, which exploded with massive public interest running counter to government crackdowns on the problem. Funded by gambling income and black market TV subscriptions, the hacker crew running the TV link became very wealthy indeed. The drivers in these races quickly realized what they were missing, and they were more than just a little displeased. They were harboring some righteous anger. Some TV network taking over their scene, taking all the rewards yet sharing none of the risks. What the hell is that about? The fury erupted and the big dogs made their grab for power. Fierce fighting broke out between the two groups, but the network was no match for the drivers and gave way to a superior force. Faced with no choice but to accept the offer they were given, a balance of power was struck and everybody moved forward. The network retained a cut, but the drivers were now collecting an income for their risk, a real income that allowed them to pimp their speed machines even further. But money corrupts, and in Grip it corrupted absolutely. The cut from the races was split between all the drivers. Those that ended first received the most, and those that didn't end at all, well, received nothing. It wasn't long before this fact was viciously exploited. The cars, originally built purely for racing, slowly evolved to become armed and armored. Fewer people finishing a race meant more money for those that did. It wasn't just about racing anymore, it was about destroying your rivals along the way. The government really couldn't tolerate such an obscene display of violence and weaponry in their backyard. The regular police were hopelessly outclassed, so they sent in the military. But as they became increasingly involved, this just added to the whole drama of the scene. Though still very much underground, it was becoming rampantly popular. It was everyone's favorite new addiction, their guilty pleasure. For the drivers though, the military intervention was just killing it. The racing was already intense enough, but fighting on two fronts was all but impossible. Something had to be done. This was a way of life now, and it wasn't going to just stop. So the whole thing started to move. Not just into the far reaches of the desert where it would be less conspicuous, but eventually off-world to try and find places where they could race to the max without wasting munition on government forces that they would much rather save to fight against each other. It was all about the winning. Now, in the age of streamlined interstellar travel, Grip has come of age with its fiery cocktail of cars and carnage spreading throughout the known star systems. The organizers now crashing exotic planets and bulldozing environments to create improvised racetracks to battle upon. That is, until the region's authorities show up and try to ruin the party with a hail of gunfire and rockets. Not only are racers dealing with each other's explosive tendencies, they now contend with a fierce war between those that want the anarchy to continue, and those that would extinguish what could become the biggest televised spectacle in the galaxy. Welcome to Grip. So that is the story. It's really good, really very finely crafted on their website. So that's it. It sounds super exciting. I just don't really know yet if there's going to be like a campaign-ish mode in Grip. That hasn't really been talked about at all, so I'm not really sure. And by campaign, I guess I mean kind of like in a game kind of like this that I like that I talked about in my previous Grip game video was Split Second. Split Second was almost the same. It was where you crashed into cars and wrecked vehicles, and it was on a TV show, and people partook in this TV show, but it was racing. This is the same thing. It was broadcasted by TV, but with Split Second, they kind of touched on the story here and there, but they didn't really. I guess that's what racing games are for. Nobody really cares about story-wise. I don't think they're going to do that in Grip. Not really sure. I don't think they're going to go full-blown story is what I mean. But anyways, it's still a cool story to hear, a cool thing to check out. If you want to check it out for yourself and look at everything on this website, I'll link it down in the description. There's everything here. Now, as of right now, there's no crazy new news about Grip. It still is coming to consoles sometime. You can get it early access on Steam right now. It's like $16. I'll link that in the description as well. There was a new update that released recently that's adding a lot of stability and new things. During Halloween, they added a new car. So there's a lot of stuff being added to the game, but it's still not fully out yet. And also, they say that we'll get some news on a console release in Q4 of 2016. So that should be any day now, but once the news releases, I will have it here on the channel, so make sure you stay tuned. I'll have future videos coming up talking about the power-ups and the pickups in Grip as well as some other things, so make sure you stay tuned for that too. Anyways guys, that brings us to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up for me. That would be fantastic of you. And subscribe to keep up to date with Grip and other under-the-radar game titles that I cover here on What's Out There Gaming. My name has been JustJarrod. I hope you guys have the best day ever. Until next time, peace out.